Hey, Mama, welcome to the One Income Family Podcast. Do you wish you had more money for those unexpected problems? Are you ready to stop feeling the pressure from living on one income? Is more money actually the answer to those problems? Spoiler alert, the answer is no. In today's episode, we are going to go over 3 mindset shifts to help you release the overwhelm, the stress, and the pressure that comes with living on one income so that you can start living a joyful life no matter the amount in your account. So go cuddle up with a nice warm drink, get comfy with them babies, and open your heart to God as we head into today's episode. Do you find it hard to save or get out of debt? Are you constantly searching for ways to save money and live on a budget? Do you have big dreams only to be stopped by not sticking to your budget? Are you ready for financial freedom? Then you, Mama, are in the right place. Welcome to the One Income Family Podcast, where you will learn what it looks like to budget on one income, how to partner with God in your finances, how to budget in a way that's easy to stick to, and how to cut costs and save money, all so that you can start building wealth. It is my mission to equip you with these tools so that you can live in abundance regardless of the amount in your account. Hey, I'm Molly, a budget coach for stay-at-home moms, and I know what it's like to struggle on one income. I've lived paycheck to paycheck, relied on being frugal, and failed many budgets until I learned how to budget without tracking. This has allowed my family to pay off debt and build wealth all on one income. So, if you are ready for financial freedom, then go grab that stroller, plug in those headphones, and let's get to it. If you are ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck, then I want you to listen in as I walk you through a budget audit and what it can do for you. A budget audit, simply put, is a way for you to fix your finances. You'll learn what's going on in your budget, why you're living paycheck to paycheck, and why you are struggling to stick to your budget. You'll learn where your money is going, and you will walk away knowing what steps you need to take to fix your finances. These steps will allow you to be able to do more than just pay for your necessities. You will stop living paycheck to paycheck and find yourself saving money. You'll be getting out of debt, going on vacation, and even have some wiggle room. So hit pause right now and send an email to mollybennell@gmail.com letting me know that you would like to book a budget audit so that we can get you booked today. Again, that's Molly Bennell, so Molly, B as in boy, Enell @gmail.com. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I used to be like the most joyful, outgoing person that there could be, like so much to the point that my friends got annoyed with how happy I was. And I would just be so willing to do anything and everything for anyone. And it was to the point where I kind of hurt myself, right? So what I ended up doing was, instead of continuing that, I just started to pull back and pull back and pull back. And what I found was that instead of being that happy, generous person, I'm now this, and I'm not that way as much or as bad, because I have been realizing it and changing it. But it did change me into somebody who was more selfish, because I was more focused on me instead of wanting to help everyone else, because I was so drastically to the helping everyone side that I didn't help myself side, right? Now, you may be asking why I am sharing this story with you. And the reason I'm sharing this story with you is because it is a mindset shift. I was so far to one side or the other, drastically both directions, right? That I was not able to become the person that could give when I was able to. I lost that heart of generosity, of loving, of giving, and I turned to the selfish side. And I really needed to learn how to balance the two. Now, balancing the two is a struggle, just like balancing anything is, right? But what I'm getting at is, this is a mindset shift that has really opened my eyes to, like, our finances, right? Our finances are this way so much so that we don't realize it, right? We get into this mindset of, oh, I can't help you. I have to worry about myself. I have to get myself in a secure place first before I can help you out. But that's not the way God wants us to be, right? So before I start diving into and getting out of context and really throwing you off track of where this episode is supposed to go, I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to just say that the mindset of who you are and the things that you do really creates the world in which you live. It creates the emotions that you have. It's what is going to tell you whether you're happy or not. We think that it's the things that we have, like the physical items we have, but it's the mindset that brings us abundance. It's the mindset that allows us to thrive regardless of how much money you have, regardless of your situation. There are people out there way worse off than you and I, and they are still happy as all get out. Yeah, they may be struggling financially, but they still live a happy and joyful life with what they have. And that's what I want for you today. So I am going to be sharing with you 3 mindset shifts to living abundantly on a budget. And these mindset shifts are not easy. So don't think that you can just write it down and start doing it right now, right? It's going to be something that you have to work on. And the first way to be able to do that is simply by bringing these things to the front of your mind so that you can start seeing if it's something that you have a problem with, so that if it's something that you are struggling with, you can start to change it, right? If you do not know what's going on, you cannot make changes. And that is what I want to do today, is simply just open your eyes to some of the mindsets that we have around our finances. And some of them are like cliche, but trust me, I've got a point to each one, right? So the first one that I want to get to, and this is something that we think all the time, if only I had more, right? If I had more money, I could do this. If only I had more money, I could solve this problem. I wouldn't have to save up to get this. It would be feeding our instant gratification if only I had more, right? But actually, when you have more means more responsibility, right? There's more taxes you have to pay. There's more tracking that you have to do to make sure that you stay on budget. There's more things that you can buy and addiction that you can give into because of habits that allow you to just go and buy things that maybe you know you shouldn't, right? And yeah, maybe it may not affect your things that you need. It may not affect your needs, right? But it still affects your budget and your goals and your dreams that you have. So when you think about if only I had more, think about the opposite side of it. You also would then need more responsibility, right? When you start teaching your children how to read, you're not going to give them this huge book and expect them to just be able to read it word for word, especially words that you're like, I'm not even sure what this is. I need to look it up in the dictionary, right? Like you wouldn't give them a science book, a college science book, and expect them to understand everything that's going on. No, you'd start small and build up. Just like in the parable that Jesus teaches, when the parable of talents, right? And I don't exactly remember, I know it's in Matthew, but I don't remember the actual verses that it is. So you're going to have to go look it up yourself so that you can read it, right? But the parable of talents is essentially where, where this guy who owns all this land, let's say he owns like a big company and he wants to go on vacation. So he's like, okay, I've got 3 guys that I'm going to divvy out this much responsibility to. One guy gets like 10 talents. Another guy gets 5 and the last guy gets 1, right? Based on their ability to be able to handle what's going on. And each guy doubles the amount. At least the first guy doubles it. So he then has 20 talents when the boss comes back. The second guy then has 10 talents when the boss comes back because he doubled his investments. But the first guy was so scared of his boss that instead of trying to double it or do anything, he simply just keeps it safe and buries it so that nothing happens. The money doesn't grow, right? And that is right there what I'm talking about. If we want more, we have to be able to handle what we currently have. And if we are struggling with what we have, then all we're going to do with that money that we have is we're going to feed that comparison if we get more. We're going to be like, oh, that person has this, I want that. That person has this, I want that. It's going to feed your desires, your instant gratification. And that is not a mindset that you want. Then, because of those things, instead of being able to manage your money well, you're going to be giving into what's called lifestyle creep, which is where you get more money, but instead of being able to handle it better and handle it wisely, you just spend it the same. And next thing you know, you're still living paycheck to paycheck, right? That's not what we want for you. So instead of thinking, I need more is my answer, think, what can I do to solve this in a creative way? What can I do to better my finances? Can I get better at budgeting? How can I get better at budgeting? What can I do to solve this with what I have now so that when I do get more, I'm not stuck with this same exact problem, right? So that is what I really want you to think about. Instead of thinking, I need more is going to solve the problem. Instead, more usually just causes more problems if you are not ready for it. And so I want you to be ready for it. And so, like I said, and I just kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but I just want you to understand that it's more of a responsibility if you get more. So instead of giving into the comparison and the instant gratification and creating lifestyle creep in what is going on in your life, where you may be bringing in more income, but your paycheck still looks the same at the end of the day, like with your expenses equaling to zero, then you're still living paycheck to paycheck, even though you got more money because you didn't learn how to handle your finances well the first go around. You just brought that with you. You just brought the problem with you instead of being able to squash it and create a better lifestyle around the money that you have, being able to actually achieve the goals that you want to achieve, right? Okay, so the second thing that I want to say, the second mindset is to start giving more. Now, I know that this is something that is very difficult. And again, I wish I would have actually wrote down these verses, but these verses didn't come to me while I was writing out my outline, right? God's just like giving it to me as we're speaking. So again, it's something you're going to have to go look up. If you want to talk about these with me, you can definitely reach out and send me an email. I'd love to chat to you over these. But this is bringing to mind another thing that Jesus talked about, another parable that he brought up, and giving more, even when you are not getting that much income, right, is still a great thing. So there was this woman who came to the I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what they call it, but it's essentially the church. And Jesus, my goodness, my brain is not here right now. Jesus was there and he was explaining to them how the men before her, who were wealthy men who had a good amount of income, were giving a good amount of money, but compared to this woman who was poor and gave every penny that she had, she gave everything that she had. She only had two, I'm not sure what they call them. I am not very good with the details right now. But the story that I'm trying to get through is that she gave everything that she had. And in comparison, the percentage that she gave is 100% compared to those wealthy men that maybe, I don't know, 5, maybe 20% of what they could give. And no, I'm not saying that you need to go and you need to give like 50% of your income to the church or to tithing and to giving and to all that kind of stuff. No. what I'm saying and what Jesus was saying here is that you just need to focus on giving more, because when you have a heart that is focused and looking at and seeing the things that are only about giving, it changes your whole mindset. It changes the whole aspect of what you do. You are not only allowing your money to fuel the kingdom of God and to do things that are going to glorify God, but you are also creating a mindset that allows you to see things differently. You're seeing things in a way of, how can I help this person? What can I do for you? I have this money. What can I do for this person in need? Instead of, what am I going to do with my money? It's my money. It's all my money. What am I going to do with it? What am I going to get out of it? How is this money going to make me feel? You're then changing that mindset of me to a mindset of others. Your focus is off of you. That selfishness, that addiction of needing more things is not going to be there, because you're going to be focused on other people. Now, yes, this can sometimes cause a problem because then you want to give away too much, right? But that mindset alone, that shift, is going to help you see the world in a totally different point of view that allows you to make not only good, strong financial decisions because you're not so focused on you, but you're also going to be able to go out into the world and see a need and actually want to help. And it may not be helping with finances. It may just be helping with your actions, like what I talked about at the beginning of the episode, where I just wanted to go out and do everything for people. I wanted to help people all the time. And then I went backwards and I became super selfish, and I didn't want to do that, right? So instead of actually just allowing your money, like being so scared. That is something that comes with our finances, is that we get so scared that something is going to happen, that something bad is going to happen. We don't rely on God. We rely on our money, and we look at it and we fixate on it. It creates idolatry, essentially, because we're so focused on how this money, and only this money, is going to keep our lives going, is going to keep us afloat, essentially, instead of allowing our faith to know that God is going to be there for us, right? He talks about all the time that if we give, we will receive. Now, it may not be finances that we receive, but we will receive the things that we need. God clothes the birds. He feeds the birds. He puts pretties on the flowers, right? He's going to take care of us. Those things hardly do anything, right? The birds, maybe they have to go search for their food, right? But they don't have to work like we do as much, right? But they are taken care of. The flowers, they are taken care of by God. Now, that is what we need to be focusing on, right? We need to be focusing on allowing God to provide for us. And by giving, it opens our heart up to allow God in, to be able to have that faith and to see Him as somebody who's actually going to be there for us and to take care of us, instead of thinking that money is the only way that we are going to be safe, that we are going to be secure, that we are going to be able to make it through whatever financial crisis that there is in the future, right? Giving is going to change your mindset. It's going to change your heart in so many ways that you are going to be able to attack whatever comes in the future with a totally different mindset, with a totally different set of values, a totally different game plan than what you would now. That's actually going to be, I don't want to say easier, but it's going to be a little bit easier because God is going to be there on your side, and you know that. Like, you are stretching and like exercising that faith muscle by giving instead of being so self-focused that your money is only for you, right? You're going to be able to rely on God. You're going to open your heart up to allow him to come in. Okay, so the next thing, the third mindset shift, and I know this is a lot all in one, but again, I just wanted to open your eyes to these three things. And the third one, you're going to be like, really? Really? You're going to bring that into this episode? Like, really? But it's that money does not bring you, and most people say happiness, but I'm going to say joy. Money can bring you short-term happiness because that is what happiness is. It is short-term. It's like as long as the new is there, when the new wears off, then it's gone, right? But I am changing it to money does not bring you joy because that is what we're looking for. We're looking for the long-term joy, like to be always not necessarily happy because that's not what joy is. Joy just means that you're at peace even in the hard times, that you are happy, that you are content, that you are living a life that you love regardless of the situation that you are in, right? Because you could be facing so many different kinds of situations that are hard, but you're still at peace with them, right? And so that's essentially what joy is. That's God's definition of joy, I should say. But that kind of mindset, when you are so focused on the fact that money is what brings you that joy, you're going to create a mindset that is, again, focused on yourself. It is selfishness. You are going to give in to that instant gratification and buy the thing that brings you short-term 5 minutes of happiness that wears off as soon as you get home, right? It's going to breed that lifestyle creep because instead of understanding where you are with your finances, you're going to keep that habit of needing to buy more and more and more to try to just bring you some short-term happiness that doesn't last. It's going to create a house full of clutter because, again, you're buying all this stuff just so that you can find a short bit of happiness. And it breeds addiction because then you're constantly having to buy something because it's something that you've just done all the time and now it's a habit, right? And so I just really want you to understand that money is not what brings you joy. God brings you that joy. People in your life bring you joy. The things that you do with the things that you buy is what brings you joy, not the constant need to buy something that, yes, will bring you a short-term happiness of like 5 minutes. And then as soon as you get home or as soon as you drive the new thing, or maybe it lasts a month or maybe 2 months, but then after that, it eventually wears off. The shininess has gone away. And now it's just something that you have. It just blends in with the rest of your stuff. That little bit of oxytocin that you got from buying that is gone, right? So that's just, and I'm sure that this is something that you are like, yes, I know this, but it's something that if you don't remind yourself about it, you can so easily, I do it all the time, give into buying things for the joy of it, buying things for a short-term bout of oxytocin that allows you to just have a little bit of joy, right? And that's not a bad thing. I don't want you to think that being excited about buying something is a bad thing, but I don't want you to fixate on it so much that you aren't able to live a joyful life, right? I want you to be able to see the things around you, just like when you're focusing on giving instead of what do I want to do, right? And yes, as a mother, you are going to be focused on your children, but you can still get to the way where you don't want to give outside of your family. You only want to take care of those inside your home. And that can be just as hard as like when you are fixated on yourself, right? Your family can essentially be the same selfishness as you personally, right? It just shifts a little bit. But again, I don't want to fixate on the negative side of this, right? I want you to be able to see the things that could be going on inside of your heart and that you are able to make the shifts, make the changes so that you are able to live abundantly on a budget, because abundance does not mean that you are making millions of dollars, right? There are so many people out in the world that are millionaires and they are not happy. They are not able to manage their money well, so they get people to do it for them, right? And so just know that you are ahead of them, that you are able to still find joy in your life, that you are still able to be happy and to be joyful, even though you have a small percentage of income compared to those millionaires, right? I don't know if I ever want to be that, I don't know if I ever want to have that much money, because I don't know what I'd do with it. I think it would turn my heart and make me an extremely selfish person, because I don't know how to handle that. I'm not ready for that much income, right? Even 200,000, that would be too much for me. I remember going from 50,000 to 100,000 a year, and I'm going, what do I do with all this money? How do I spend this? Where does it go? Like, I did not know how to budget it, because I'm like, I don't know where to put this money. I mean, I have dreams, I have goals. Can I just go spend it on whatever? What do I need to do? And that is why I'm saying that it's just so good to be able to see all of these mindset struggles that people go through, and to be able to see what it can do for you if you're not focused on these things, right? Or you are focused on like the giving more rather than needing more income, right? And so I'm just going to go over these real fast again. And that's simply that the first mindset shift is that more is not better, right? More money actually means more responsibility. And if you're not ready for that responsibility, then more money is not going to help you. It's just going to give you more problems, right? Just like that quote, more money, more problems. Yeah, that's generally what happens. The second mindset shift is to give more. And I say then you keep, but I don't want you to think that it has to be 50-50, right? I just want you to start opening your eyes and help it, or allow it to help you start seeing things in a different way. Instead of me focused, be others focused. And it's going to give you so much more joy in your life than if you're so focused on internal things inside your home, right? And the third thing is that money does not bring you more joy. It does not bring you joy at all. It does bring you short-term, very short-term happiness. But that's just like a dose of oxytocin. Like, that's what that is. It's not long-term joy, and that's the life that we want to live. We want to be joyful regardless of if we have a lot of money or not, right? We want to be like those people who are not like making a whole lot of money, yet they're still sitting outside on the doorstep, laughing with each other, being happy, being excited, having a life that they enjoy, that they want to keep living, instead of going, I don't like what's going on. I want to change things. This isn't a fun life that I have, right? It's stressful. It's not something that I want to do constantly all the time. And money is not going to solve that problem. What is going to solve that problem is by slowly making those mindset shifts so that you can see things from a different point of view and actually create a joyful life regardless of the amount in your account. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to keep rambling and saying the same thing over and over again. But I do want to say that if you would like some help with your budgeting, right, if that's something that you are struggling with, then reach out and book yourself a budget audit so that we can go through your budget. We can see what's going on. You can identify your problem areas, and we can start creating a budget that works for you so that if you do get more income, you're able to manage it and you're able to take on that responsibility like a boss, right? Okay, so again, if you would like to grab yourself a budget audit, all you have to do is shoot me an email at mollybennell@gmail.com. So that's MOLLY, B as in boy, ENELL @gmail.com. And with that being said, I will see you right back here next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast. Before you go, I hope this episode has ignited a fire inside of you, and I pray that it creates long-lasting impact. Did you know that you too can impact other one-income families? All you have to do is leave a written review, and you help get the podcast in the hands of other mamas in need. You can also text this episode to that friend who is also knee-deep in the same kind of chaos as you and inspire them to make a change. Also, your review lets me know that you're enjoying the show, and that lights me up. I get so excited to hear from you. Another great way that we can connect, though, is through the One Income Family community over on Facebook. So after you're done leaving that 5-star review, head on over to the community where you will find other mamas working their way out of the chaos. You can ask your questions and connect with others who truly understand what you are going through. I cannot wait to connect with you in the community. Until then, I will see you right here next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast.